here we've got the Mont Rocher Viognier, another Vieille Vin, old vine, and this is from the Pays d'Oc, again in France.
Absolutely. So Pays d'Oc, a big old region or sort of collection of regions that can be broken down into lots of different smaller regions. This guy, Mont Rocher, they come from the Languedoc-Roussillon. Mont Rocher, fantastic winemaker that we work with a lot from all of their wines, really, their reds, their whites, and their rosé, that are fantastic representations of what can be more premium varieties from other areas. We've got Viognier here. Not a great variety we're super familiar with. Viognier is a Côte de Rhône white grape. So if you know the Côte de Rhône, down the middle of France, just before you get down to Saint-Tropez and the Riviera and Provence and all that sort of area, Rhône River. It's famous for those big reds, so your Chateauneuf de Pape's, your Côte de Rhônes, those sort of very popular and expensive Shirazes and that sort of thing. They do fantastic white wine as well, and those white wines are always made from Viognier and also Marsanne and Roussanne, who are sort of blending white grapes that do really well with Viognier that you don't hear about a huge amount. You do pay a lot for those. We're talking just down the road here. We're just moving slightly down the road to Languedoc, and you've got a fantastic representation of Viognier. It's big, it's rich. Viognier is a grape that is perfect for surviving the harsh heat of the south of France. It has a really thick skin to protect itself from the harsh heat of the south of France. And that thick skin sort of translates into quite a waxy, almost thick honey-like flavour in the wine.
Yeah, there's a bit of like an oily vibe to it. Now, you know, we're not all about giving tasting notes and you should taste this, you should pick that up, but there's definite like kind of a honey vibe to it for sure. I mean, 13% as well. This is probably this is quite a big white wine. You know, if it's not a wishy-washy kind of Pinot Grigio, for example.
For sure, this is one of the grape varieties that single-handedly on its own will create a heavy-bodied white wine. You know, so generally, big-bodied white wine needs maybe a bit of oak, of lees aging to back up the white wine itself. But Viognier, this has got no oak, no lees aging, but on its own it's robust. It can go to 13% alcohol because it can put up with the sun, and that's because of the thick skin. And you're right, the thick skin creates an oily texture, a thickness to it. It's no longer just liquid. There's something else, like you say, something more oily to it.
Obviously, Viognier, like you said, it's not something we're particularly familiar with. You know, is this very much just seen in France? Can you get this elsewhere? You know, like it's the first time I've had a Viognier.
Yeah, so Viognier is very much just a France thing, but South Africans are pretty good at specifically Côte de Rhône varietals. The South Africans will do Côte de Rhône varietals really, really well. So will the Australians. It's worth looking out for. There's no doubt those guys will probably throw in a bit of oak at some point if you are into those bigger, richer wines. Honey, for sure, one of the flavours. The other one for me when it comes to Viognier is always that sort of tangy orange nature. Puts it out on its own, for sure. It's not your usual citrusy, tropical fruits. There's a honey thing, there's an orange thing going on there. It's rich, it's thick, it's its own character altogether, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you know, this is a big white wine, and we've had a few of those through various tastings before. When am I reaching for this bottle? You know, what am I eating with it? What occasions is this the one to go for?
Yeah, it's a funny one, really. I don't think there's a specific dish that I would say this Viognier is the one for it. But I think if you're bringing spice in, like Asian spice, that sort of thing, I think the honey and orange goes really, really well with it. I think pork, you know, or chicken, but maybe richer than a salad, maybe roasted or something, is going to go really nicely. Yeah, Viognier, it's sort of on its own, and I think so spiciness, Asian spices or Indian spices specifically, with that orangey nature, they go really well.
Very good. I mean, stir fry for me tonight, so
sure.
I'll grab myself a bottle.
Cheers.